Chapter 1, The Letter. Ellie didn't believe in fate, not really. Life was just a messy pile of choices and dumb luck, and she'd had plenty of both. So when she found the envelope slipped under her apartment door that rainy Tuesday night, she figured it was junk mail or some neighbor's passive-aggressive note about her loud music. She kicked off her muddy boots, tossed her keys on the counter, and grabbed a beer from the fridge before bothering to pick it up. Plain white, no address, no stamp. Just her name scrawled in black ink across the front. Ellie. Not Eleanor, not Miss Harper. Just Ellie, like whoever wrote it knew her too well. She tore it open, expecting a flyer or a bill. Instead, a single sheet of paper slid out, folded once, the kind of crisp stationery you'd see in a fancy office. The handwriting was tight, deliberate, like every letter had been carved into the page. She took a swig of beer and started reading, half distracted by the hum of the TV she'd left on. To the women who hide, it began. Okay, weird, but she kept going. You bury your secrets in silence, but they scream in the dark. The time you cried in the bathroom stall at work because he wouldn't stop staring. The night you drank too much and let him touch you, then hated yourself for it. The scar you cover with long sleeves, the one nobody asks about. These are your truths, and I see them all. Ellie froze, the bottle halfway to her lips. Her chest tightened, like someone had sucked the air out of the room. She reread it, slower this time, her eyes snagging on every word. The bathroom stall thing, that happened 2 years ago at her old job, some creep from sales who wouldn't take a hint. She'd locked herself in there, mascara streaking down her face, swearing she'd quit. She didn't tell anyone, not even Sam. And the drinking, God, that could have been a dozen nights, but one stood out, a blurry memory of a guy's hands and her waking up sick with shame. The scar though, that hit hardest. A thin, jagged line on her left forearm from when she was 12, a stupid fall off her bike into a ditch. She never talked about it, always wore long sleeves or bracelets to keep it hidden. How the hell did this let her know? She laughed, sharp and loud, trying to shake the chill creeping up her spine. Probably a prank, right? Sam was always messing with her, or maybe that nosy lady downstairs had too much time on her hands. She flipped the paper over, looking for a signature, a clue, anything. Nothing. Just those words staring back at her, taunting her. She set the beer down, hands shaky, and paced the tiny living room. The TV droned on about some storm rolling in, but she barely heard it. Her mind was spinning, picking apart every line, every secret. Who'd been close enough to know this stuff? She hadn't dated anyone in months, and her friends weren't the type to dig this deep. Then she noticed the envelope again, lying on the floor where she'd dropped it. Something else was inside, a corner peeking out. She crouched, heart thudding, and tipped it upside down. A Polaroid fell out, landing face up on the carpet. It was her. Ellie, asleep on her couch, head tilted back, mouth slightly open. She was wearing that ratty gray hoodie she only wore at home, the one with the coffee stain on the sleeve. The photo was grainy, taken from above, like someone had stood over her while she slept. Her stomach lurched. She lived alone. She always locked the door. Always. Ellie, she whispered to herself, voice cracking. She stumbled to the door, checked the deadbolt. Locked, just like she'd left it. The windows, same deal. No signs of a break-in, no footprints, nothing. She grabbed her phone, thumb hovering over Sam's number, but stopped. What would she say? Hey, I got a creepy letter and a photo of me drooling, help? She'd sound nuts. Instead, she sank onto the couch, clutching the Polaroid, staring at her own sleeping face. The letter sat on the coffee table, its words burning into her brain. Someone knew her, really knew her, and they'd been here. In her space. Watching. She didn't sleep that night. The rain hammered the windows, and every creak of the old building made her jump. By morning, she'd convinced herself it was a one-off, some sick joke she'd laugh about later. She stuffed the letter and photo into a drawer, slammed it shut, and headed to work, determined to forget it. But as she locked her door, she couldn't shake the feeling of eyes on her back. And deep down, she knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Chapter 2, The First Crack. Ellie couldn't focus at work the next day. The letter and that damn Polaroid kept clawing at the back of her mind, like a song she couldn't shake. She sat at her desk, staring at spreadsheets that might as well have been hieroglyphs, her coffee going cold. She worked at a small insurance office, the kind of place where the biggest drama was someone stealing a yogurt from the fridge. Usually, she liked the monotony, the way it let her zone out. Not today. Every time the phone rang, she flinched, half expecting some raspy voice to whisper her secrets back to her. By noon, she'd had enough. She grabbed her bag and bolted, muttering something about a headache to her boss, who barely looked up from his Sudoku. She drove straight to Sam's place, a cramped duplex on the edge of town with peeling paint and a yard full of weeds. Sam was her rock, the one person who could talk her off a ledge or at least shove a drink in her hand while she ranted. They'd been friends since high school, bonded over shitty exes and a mutual love of dive bars. If anyone could make sense of this mess, it was her. Ellie banged on the door, shifting from foot to foot, the envelope tucked under her arm like a live grenade. Sam answered in a stained tank top and sweatpants, her dark hair a wild mess, a cigarette dangling from her lips. "Ellie, what the hell? You look like you saw a ghost," she said, squinting through the smoke. "Maybe I did," Ellie muttered, shoving past her into the living room. It smelled like cheap incense and last night's takeout, a chaos that felt oddly comforting. She dropped onto the couch, spilling the envelope's contents onto the coffee table, the letter and Polaroid landing with a soft thud. Sam raised an eyebrow, plucking the cigarette from her mouth. "Okay, spill it. What's this crap?" Ellie took a deep breath and pointed at the letter. "Read it. Just read it." Sam flopped down beside her, scanning the page, her smirk fading with every line. When she got to the end, she let out a low whistle. "Jesus, Ellie. This is some next-level stalker shit. Who wrote this?" "I don't know," Ellie said, her voice tight. "That's the problem. It's all true, Sam. Every word. Stuff I've never told anyone, not even you." Sam's eyes widened, and she grabbed the Polaroid, holding it up to the light. "And this? You look half dead here. When was this taken?" Ellie shrugged, rubbing her temples. "No clue. I don't remember anyone being in my place. I lock up every night, you know that." Sam snorted, tossing the photo back on the table. "Yeah, well, someone's got a key or some ninja skills. Maybe it's that creep from the bar last month, the one who kept buying you shots." Ellie shook her head. "He didn't know me like this. This is personal." She leaned forward, elbows on her knees, staring at the letter like it might confess if she glared hard enough. Sam stubbed out her cigarette and stood up. "All right, let's play detective. We'll search your place, see if this freak left anything behind." Ellie nodded, grateful for the plan, even if it felt like grasping at straws. They drove back to her apartment in Sam's rattling pickup, the radio blaring some old rock song to drown out the silence. Inside, they tore through every corner, flipping cushions, checking under the bed, even tapping the walls like they'd seen in movies. Nothing. No hidden cameras, no creepy notes, just dust and a few stale chips. Sam was about to call it quits when she picked up the Polaroid again, tilting it under the lamp. "Wait a sec," she said, squinting. "Look at this." Ellie leaned in, her stomach twisting. There, on the edge of the frame, was a faint smudge, a reddish-brown curve that could have been lipstick. Sam grinned, triumphant. "Bingo! Your stalker's a sloppy kisser." Ellie didn't laugh. Her mind flashed to a night a few months back, a blurry haze of too much vodka and a stranger's voice. She'd woken up on her couch, fully clothed but disoriented, chalking it up to a bad hangover. Now, that memory felt heavier, darker. "Sam," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "what if they were here that night?" Before Sam could answer, a sharp knock rattled the door. Ellie jumped, her heart slamming against her ribs. Sam grabbed a baseball bat from the corner, mouthing, "Stay back." She cracked the door open, peering out, then relaxed. "Just the mail guy," she said, stepping aside as a small stack of letters slid through the slot. Ellie's breath caught. On top was another plain white envelope, her name scrawled in that same tight handwriting. Sam looked at her, eyes wide. "You've got to be kidding me." Ellie reached for it, hands trembling, knowing whatever was inside would only drag her deeper into this nightmare. Chapter 3, Echoes in the Dark. Ellie stared at the new envelope like it was a snake coiled on her floor, ready to strike. Her hands shook as she held it, the weight of it heavier than paper should be. Sam stood beside her, bat still in hand, her usual cocky grin replaced by a tight-lipped frown. "Ellie, you gonna open it or what?" she said, her voice sharp with impatience. Ellie swallowed hard, her throat dry. "I don't know if I can," she admitted, barely above a whisper. Sam rolled her eyes, snatching it from her. "Fine, I'll do it. Probably just more creepy fan mail." She tore it open, pulling out another sheet of that crisp stationery. Her eyes flicked over the words, and Ellie watched her face harden, the color draining a little. "Sam, what's it say?" Ellie asked, stepping closer, dread pooling in her gut. Sam cleared her throat, her voice flat as she read. "You think you can hide it, but I see the mark you carry. The scar on your thigh, the one from the glass. You were 8, clumsy, running from a fight with her. She laughed while you bled. I know what she did. I know what you won't say." Sam stopped, looking up, her brows knitting together. "Ellie, what the hell? How do they know this?" Ellie's knees buckled, and she sank onto the couch, her breath shallow. That scar, a jagged line on her upper thigh, was her deepest secret. Not even Sam knew about it. She'd told everyone it was from a bike crash, but the truth was uglier. She'd been 8, arguing with her mom, Martha, over some stupid kid thing, toys or candy. She'd stormed off, tripped, and crashed through a glass coffee table. Martha hadn't helped her up. She'd stood there, laughing, slurring her words, a bottle of gin in her hand, while Ellie screamed, blood soaking her shorts. It wasn't a story she'd ever shared. Not with anyone. "Ellie, talk to me," Sam said, dropping the letter on the table and crouching in front of her. "Is this true? The scar, your mom?" Ellie nodded, slow and heavy, like her head weighed a ton. "Yeah. It's true. But I never told a soul." "How do they know?" Her voice cracked, and she pressed her palms to her eyes, trying to hold it together. Sam sat beside her, slinging an arm around her shoulders. "Okay, this is freaky as hell. We need to figure out who's doing this. Maybe your mom said something to someone?" Ellie shook her head, a bitter laugh escaping. "Martha doesn't talk about that stuff. She barely admits it happened. Thinks it makes her look bad." Sam chewed her lip, thinking. "All right, then let's go straight to the source. You need to ask her. See if she's slipped up, told some old drinking buddy or something." Ellie's stomach twisted at the thought. Confronting Martha was like poking a bear with a hangover, messy and loud. But Sam was right. If anyone had a clue, it might be her. "Fine," Ellie said, standing, her legs wobbly but determined. "I'll go see her. But you're coming with me." Sam grinned, grabbing her keys. "Wouldn't miss it. Let's see if Martha's got any skeletons spilling out of her closet." They drove to Martha's place, a sagging trailer on the outskirts of town, surrounded by overgrown grass and rusted junk. The air smelled like damp earth and cigarette smoke as they climbed the rickety steps. Ellie knocked, her knuckles barely making a sound, but Martha yanked the door open fast, like she'd been waiting. She was in her 50s, wiry and tough, her blonde hair streaked with gray, a cigarette burning between her fingers. "Ellie? Sam? What's this, a damn intervention?" she snapped, her voice rough as gravel. Ellie held up the letter, her hand steady now. "Martha, we need to talk. Someone knows things. About me. About you. Read this." Martha's eyes narrowed as she scanned the page, her lips pursing tight. She handed it back, flicking ash onto the porch. Sounds like some nut job with a typewriter. What's it got to do with me? Ellie stepped closer, her voice low. It's about the scar. The real story. You ever tell anyone? Martha's face darkened, and she took a long drag, blowing smoke in Ellie's direction. You think I go around blabbing about my kids' tantrums? Nah. That's old news. Maybe one of your little friends has a big mouth. Her tone was sharp, dismissive, but something flickered in her eyes, a twitch Ellie couldn't place. Sam crossed her arms, leaning against the railing. Come on, Martha. You used to run with some shady types. Any of them still around, stirring up trouble? Martha snorted, stubbing out her cigarette on the step. Old friends don't write letters, Sam. They show up drunk or dead. You're barking up the wrong tree. She turned to go inside, but paused, glancing back. Whoever this is, they've got too much time. Ignore it. Or don't. Your mess, not mine. The door slammed shut, leaving Ellie and Sam in the quiet, the letter burning a hole in Ellie's pocket. Driving back, Ellie stared out the window, the trees blurring past. Martha's dodge didn't sit right. She was hiding something, even if it was just shame. Sam tapped the wheel, humming off-key. She's a brick wall, but I'd bet my last beer she knows more than she's letting on, she said. Ellie nodded, her mind churning. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw it, a figure in a dark coat, standing under a streetlight across from her building. Watching. The car rolled past, and when she twisted to look again, they were gone, swallowed by the shadows. Her pulse spiked. Sam, she said, gripping the seat. Someone's out there. Chapter 4, The Watcher. Ellie couldn't shake the image of that figure under the streetlight, a dark smudge against the glow, gone in a blink. She made Sam circle the block twice, her eyes darting to every shadow, every alley, but there was nothing. No footsteps, no rustling, just the hum of the truck and the patter of rain starting up again. Ellie, you sure you saw someone? Sam asked, her voice edged with doubt as she pulled into a spot near Ellie's building. Ellie nodded, her jaw tight. I'm not crazy, Sam. They were there, watching me. Sam sighed, cutting the engine. All right, I believe you. But if they're gone, they're gone. Let's get inside before we're soaked. Upstairs, Ellie double-checked the locks, her fingers lingering on the deadbolt like it could keep out more than just burglars. Sam sprawled on the couch, cracking open a beer she'd swiped from the fridge. So, what's the plan, detective? We staking out the street all night, she said, smirking. Ellie paced, the letter from Martha's visit still crumpled in her pocket. I don't know. I just want to see them, figure out who they are. That coat, it was long, dark. Could have been anyone. Sam took a swig, wiping her mouth. Or it's your brain playing tricks. You're wound tight, Ellie. Maybe it was just some rando waiting for a bus. Ellie stopped, staring out the window at the empty street below. The rain streaked the glass, blurring the lights into smears. She wanted to believe Sam, wanted it to be nothing, but her gut screamed otherwise. No, she said, turning back. It's connected. The letters, the photo, now this. Someone's screwing with me, and I'm done waiting for the next move. Sam raised an eyebrow, setting the beer down. Okay, badass. What's your play then? Ellie grabbed her jacket, adrenaline buzzing through her. I'm going down there. If they're still around, I'll find them. Sam bolted up, snagging her arm. Whoa, hold up. You're not charging into the dark alone like some horror movie chick. I'm coming. Ellie didn't argue. They headed out, the stairwell echoing with their steps, the air cold and damp as they hit the street. The rain was light but steady, soaking Ellie's hair as she scanned the block. The street light where she'd seen the figure stood empty, its glow pooling on wet pavement. She walked toward it, Sam trailing, muttering about pneumonia and bad ideas. See anything? Sam called, her voice cutting through the drizzle. Ellie shook her head, frustration clawing at her. Then, a flash of movement, a shadow ducking around the corner of the old hardware store. "There!" Ellie shouted, breaking into a run. Sam cursed but followed, her sneakers slapping the ground. They rounded the corner into an alley, narrow and cluttered with trash cans, the smell of rot thick in the air. Up ahead, the figure moved fast, a long coat flapping behind them. "Hey! Stop!" Ellie yelled, her voice raw. The figure didn't slow, weaving through the alley like they knew it by heart. Ellie's lungs burned, but she pushed harder, Sam panting beside her. They hit a cross street, and the figure darted left, disappearing behind a dumpster. Ellie skidded to a stop, chest heaving, rain dripping into her eyes. "Where'd they go?" Sam gasped, hands on her knees. Ellie crept forward, peering around the dumpster. Nothing but shadows and a pile of soggy cardboard. Then, something caught her eye, a scrap of paper stuck to the ground, half torn. She knelt, peeling it free, her fingers slick with water. It was a receipt, faded but legible, from a diner 2 blocks over. Scribbled in the margin, in shaky pen, was a name, Kate. "Sam, look at this," Ellie said, holding it up. Sam squinted, wiping rain from her face. "Kate? Who's that?" Ellie shook her head, pocketing the receipt. "No idea. But they dropped it. It's something." Back at the apartment, soaked and shivering, Sam fired up Ellie's laptop while Ellie changed into dry clothes. "Let's see if this Kate's got a digital footprint," Sam said, typing fast. Ellie hovered, towel around her shoulders, watching the screen. A few clicks later, Sam pulled up an old news article, grainy photo and all. "Catherine Kate Miller," Sam read aloud. "Local woman, reported missing 3 years ago. Last seen at that diner on Elm." Huh. Small world. The photo showed a woman in her 30s, sharp cheekbones, dark hair, eyes that cut through the screen. Ellie's stomach flipped. She didn't know her, but something about that face felt off, like a memory she couldn't grab. "Missing?" Ellie said, leaning closer. "So who the hell's running around dropping her receipts?" Sam shrugged, closing the laptop. "Beats me. Maybe a ghost with a grudge. Or someone using her name. Either way, we've got a lead." Ellie nodded, but her mind was elsewhere, replaying the chase, the coat, that fleeting glimpse. She sank onto the couch, the receipt damp in her hand. Sleep came hard that night, fractured by dreams of a woman's voice, low and insistent, whispering her secrets back to her. When she woke, the name Kate echoed in her head, and the air felt thick with something she couldn't name. Chapter 5, Broken Threads. Ellie woke up with Kate's name stuck in her throat, like she'd swallowed it whole in her sleep. The apartment was quiet, too quiet, the kind of stillness that made every creak sound like a warning. She rolled off the couch, where she'd crashed after the chase, her neck stiff and her clothes still damp from the rain. Sam was sprawled on the floor, snoring into a throw pillow, the laptop open beside her with that grainy photo of Kate still on the screen. Ellie stared at it, those sharp eyes staring back, daring her to dig deeper. She didn't know this woman, not really, but that receipt, that name, it was a thread she couldn't let go of. She shook Sam awake, ignoring her grumbled protests. "Sam, get up. We're finding out who Kate is," Ellie said, her voice rough but firm. Sam blinked, rubbing her face. "Ellie, it's barely dawn. Can't this wait till I've had coffee?" Ellie was already pulling on her boots, the receipt crinkling in her pocket. "No. I need answers. That diner's a start. You coming or not?" Sam groaned but hauled herself up, muttering about bossy friends and bad ideas. They grabbed coffee from a gas station on the way, the bitter burn waking Ellie up enough to focus. The diner on Elm was a squat, faded building, the kind of place that smelled like grease and regret. A neon sign flickered open, and they slid into a booth near the window, the vinyl seats sticky under their jeans. A waitress, older with tired eyes and a name tag reading Beth, shuffled over, pouring coffee without asking. "What'll it be?" she said, her voice flat. Ellie pulled out the receipt, smoothing it on the table. "We're not here to eat. You know a woman named Kate Miller? This is from here, couple years back." Beth glanced at it, her face barely shifting. "Kate, huh? Yeah, she used to come in. Quiet type, always scribbling in a notebook. Haven't seen her since she up and vanished." Cops asked around, then forgot her. "Why?" Ellie hesitated, then went for it. "She might be tied to something weird happening to me. Letters, personal stuff. You know where she lived?" Beth shrugged, topping off their cups. "Old place on Pine Street, I think. Sister's still there, Lisa. Good luck getting her to talk, though. She's a mess." Pine Street was a 20-minute drive, a run-down stretch of houses with sagging porches and chipped paint. Kate's old address was a gray bungalow, curtains drawn tight, a rusty mailbox overflowing with junk. Ellie knocked, Sam hovering behind her, cracking her knuckles like she was prepping for a fight. The door creaked open, and a woman peered out, thin and twitchy, a cigarette trembling in her hand. Her hair was a tangle of blonde, her eyes bloodshot. "What you want?" she snapped, voice like sandpaper. Ellie held up the receipt. "Lisa?" "I'm Ellie, this is Sam. We're looking into Kate. This yours?" Lisa's gaze flicked to it, then back, her lips thinning. "Where'd you get that?" Ellie kept it simple. "Found it. Someone's been following me, might be her. You know anything?" Lisa laughed, a harsh, dry sound, and stepped onto the porch, shutting the door behind her. "Kate's gone, lady. 3 years. Cops said she split, but I say she's dead. That receipt's old news." She lit another cigarette, hands shaky. Sam leaned in, voice low. "She ever mention a group, maybe women she hung with?" Lisa's eyes darted away, then back. "Yeah, some weird clique. Called themselves sisters or some crap. Kate was deep in it, always yammering about fixing people, saving them. Drove me nuts." Ellie's pulse quickened. "Fixing how?" Lisa shrugged, exhaling smoke. "Dunno. She'd come home wired, talking about secrets, shame. Then she stopped coming home. Left me with nothing but bills and her damn cat." Ellie pressed, sensing a crack. "Anyone else in that group we'd know?" Lisa paused, too long, then flicked ash onto the steps. "Maybe. Old photo in there, Kate with some chick. Blonde, tough-looking. Looked familiar, but I ain't a detective." She jerked her head toward the house. "Take it if you want. I don't care." Inside, the place was a wreck, stale air thick with dust and smoke. Lisa pointed to a shoebox on a cluttered table. Ellie dug through it, pulling out a faded Polaroid. Kate stood in a backyard, arm around a woman with sharp features and blonde hair pulled back tight. Ellie's breath caught. It was Martha, younger, smirking at the camera like she owned the world. "Martha," Ellie whispered, showing Sam. Sam's jaw dropped. "Your mom? With Kate? What the hell?" Lisa snorted from the doorway. "Told you it'd ring a bell. Small town, big messes." Ellie's head spun. Martha had lied, or dodged, claiming she barely knew Kate. Now here she was, frozen in time with her. Before they could process it, Ellie's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number lighting up the screen. "Stop looking," it read, simple and cold. She showed Sam, her hands clammy. "They know we're here," she said, voice trembling. Lisa laughed again, bitter. "Sounds like Kate's ghost ain't happy. Good luck with that." They left, the photo and text burning holes in Ellie's mind, the threads of this mess tangling tighter. Martha had some explaining to do, and Ellie wasn't letting her off easy this time. Chapter 6, The Weight of Silence. Ellie gripped the steering wheel so hard her knuckles turned white, the photo of Martha and Kate tucked into her jacket like a loaded gun. Sam sat shotgun, scrolling through her phone, muttering about spotty service and how Martha was about to get her ass handed to her. The drive back to Martha's trailer felt shorter this time, the road blurring past as Ellie's mind churned. That text, "Stop looking," looped in her head, a warning she couldn't ignore but wouldn't obey. Whoever was behind this knew she was digging, and that photo tied Martha to Kate tighter than a knot. She wasn't buying the "barely knew her" line anymore. Martha had answers, and Ellie was done with half-truths. They pulled up to the trailer, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the junk-strewn yard. Martha was outside, hunched over a folding chair, a cigarette glowing between her fingers. She didn't look up as they climbed out, just took a slow drag and blew smoke into the air. "Back already," she said, her voice dry as the dirt under her feet. Ellie didn't waste time. She yanked the photo from her jacket and held it out, her hand steady despite the storm brewing inside. "Explain this, Martha. You and Kate. You said you didn't know her well. This says different." Martha's eyes flicked to the picture, then back to her cigarette, her face a mask of indifference. "Old photo. So what? I knew a lot of people back then." Ellie stepped closer, her voice rising. "Don't bullshit me. Kate's sister says she ran with some group, women spilling secrets. You were in it, weren't you?" Martha snorted, stubbing out the cigarette on the chair's arm. "Lisa's a drunk with a big mouth. Yeah, I knew Kate. We hung out a few times. Doesn't mean I'm part of your little mystery." Sam crossed her arms, leaning against the truck. "Come on, Martha. You're dodging like a pro. What's the deal with this group?" Martha stood, brushing ash off her jeans, her movements slow, deliberate. "You want the deal? Fine. Kate had this thing, some self-help crap for women. Meetings in basements, crying about our problems. I went a couple times, got bored, left. End of story." Ellie's stomach twisted. "Self-help? That's it? Then why's someone sending me letters about my life, stuff you'd know?" Martha's eyes narrowed, a flicker of something, guilt maybe, crossing her face. "I didn't tell nobody nothing, Ellie. Whatever's going on, it ain't my fault." The air thickened, tension snapping between them. Ellie tossed the photo at Martha's feet, her voice breaking. "You laughed when I cut myself, Martha. The glass, the blood. You didn't help me. The letter knew that." "How?" Martha froze, her tough shell cracking just enough for Ellie to see the flinch. She bent to pick up the photo, her fingers trembling slightly. "I was drunk," she said, quiet, almost to herself. "You were a kid, screaming, and I was a mess. I didn't mean to laugh. I couldn't deal." She looked up, eyes hard again. "But I never told Kate that. Or anyone. Swear it." Ellie wanted to believe her, wanted to think Martha's shame was locked up tight, but the pieces didn't fit. "Then how do they know?" she pressed, stepping closer. Martha threw the photo back, her voice rising. "I don't know, Ellie. Maybe you talk in your sleep, maybe someone's guessing. Stop dragging me into your damn drama." Sam stepped between them, hands up. "All right, let's cool it. Martha, if you're clean, fine. But if you're hiding something, it's gonna bite you." Martha glared, then turned, storming into the trailer. "I protected you, Ellie," she called over her shoulder, her voice raw. "More than you know." The door slammed, leaving silence and a sting in Ellie's chest. Sam sighed, kicking a rock across the yard. "She's a fortress, but that protected you bit?" "Sounds like a slip." Ellie nodded, her mind racing. "Protected her from what? Kate? The group?" She climbed into the truck, slamming the door harder than she meant to. "She's lying, Sam. Or she's scared. Either way, I'm not done with her." They drove off, the trailer shrinking in the rearview, but Ellie's unease grew. Martha's words felt like a half-open door, and she couldn't stop pushing. Back at her place, Ellie barely had her boots off when she found it. A third letter slipped under the door while they were gone. Her heart sank as she tore it open, Sam hovering close. The handwriting was the same, tight and sharp. You were soft, pliable, that night, it read. The drink made you talk, made you spill. I listened. I always listen. Ellie's knees buckled, and she grabbed the counter, memories flashing, that vodka-soaked night months ago, waking up foggy and alone. Sam, she choked out, they drugged me. They were there. Sam's face paled, but before she could speak, Ellie bolted to the bathroom, puking into the sink, the letter crumpled in her fist. Fear wasn't just creeping now, it was clawing her apart. Chapter 7, The Bar. Ellie couldn't stay in the apartment after that third letter, not with her stomach still churning and the taste of bile clinging to her throat. The walls felt too close, the air too thick, like the place itself was mocking her. She grabbed her keys, the crumpled letter still in her fist, and looked at Sam, who was pacing by the couch, her face a mix of worry and fury. I need out, Ellie said, her voice shaky but firm. Let's hit the bar. I can't sit here waiting for the next damn envelope. Sam nodded, snagging her jacket. Yeah, good call. Booze and bad lighting might shake this crap loose. Let's go. They ended up at the Rusty Nail, a dive bar on the edge of town where the jukebox played too loud and the floor stuck to your shoes. It was Ellie's kind of place, rough around the edges, no pretense. The crowd was thin, a handful of regulars nursing beers and a couple of guys arguing over darts. Ellie slid onto a stool at the bar, Sam beside her, and ordered a whiskey neat. The bartender, a grizzled guy named Ray, slid it over without a word, his eyes barely leaving the TV above the counter. Ellie downed half the glass in one go, the burn cutting through the fog in her head. Sam sipped a beer, watching her. You gonna be okay, Ellie? She asked, her tone softer than usual. Ellie shrugged, staring into the amber liquid. I don't know. That letter, Sam. They were there, in my place, when I was out of it. What else did they hear? What else do they know? Her voice cracked, and she took another sip, trying to steady herself. Sam leaned closer, elbow on the bar. We'll figure it out. Kate, Martha, whoever's behind this, they're not ghosts. They're real, and they'll slip up. Ellie 10 minutes later. Ellie didn't answer right away, her mind still spinning. Then a guy at the end of the bar caught her eye, leaning against the wall, nursing a drink. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a scruffy beard and a leather jacket that looked like it had seen better days. He glanced her way, a slow, easy smile spreading across his face, and sauntered over. Hey, ladies, he said, voice smooth as the whiskey in her glass. You two look like you could use some company. Name's Jake. Sam snorted, rolling her eyes. Oh, great. Another night in shining denim. We're fine, thanks. Jake chuckled, unfazed, and slid onto the stool next to Ellie. Fair enough. Just thought I'd say hi. You're locals, right? Seen you around. Ellie squinted at him, the whiskey loosening her tongue. Maybe. You look familiar too. You know a woman named Kate Miller? It was a shot in the dark, but she was past caring about subtlety. Jake's smile faltered, just for a second, then came back stronger. Kate? Yeah, I knew her. Wild one, that girl. Used to come in here, always stirring up trouble. Why you asking? Ellie's pulse kicked up, and she set her glass down, leaning in. She's tied to something messing with me. Letters, creepy stuff. You know where she went? Jake took a sip of his drink, eyes flicking between her and Sam. Heard she skipped town years back. But Kate, she had this thing about women. Said they needed fixing, like she was some damn savior. Ran with a weird crowd, too. Intense. Sam perked up, setting her beer down. Weird crowd? Like a group? Jake nodded, scratching his beard. Yeah, bunch of ladies meeting up, spilling their guts. Kate was all about it, like it was her mission. Got kinda creepy, honestly. Then she just, poof, gone. Ellie's mind raced, pieces clicking into place. Martha's dodge, Lisa's story, now this. You ever see her with a blonde, tough-looking woman? Maybe named Martha, she asked, voice tight. Jake tilted his head, thinking. Blonde, huh? Might have. Kate hung with all types. But I'd remember a Martha. She still around? Ellie nodded, her gut twisting. My mom. Jake whistled low. Small world. Guess trouble runs in the family. He grinned, but Ellie didn't smile back. She was too busy connecting dots, the whiskey buzzing through her veins. The bar got louder, the jukebox kicking into a rowdy country tune, and an old guy at a table nearby started grumbling. Hey, Jake, he called, voice slurred. Tell your new girlfriends to keep it down. Some of us are drinking in peace. Jake laughed, waving him off. Relax, Paul. They're just asking questions. Paul glared, then muttered into his glass. Questions get you in deep, kid. Watch it. Ellie barely heard him, her focus locked on Jake. If Kate's alive, where'd she go? She pressed. Jake shrugged, finishing his drink. No clue. But if she's back, you'll know. She loved an entrance. He stood, tipping an imaginary hat. Good luck, Ellie. Hope you find her before she finds you. He winked and strolled off, leaving her with more questions than answers. Sam nudged her, smirking. Charming, huh? Guys got moves. Ellie ignored her, staring at the empty glass. Kate fixing women, Martha in the mix, letters spilling her soul. It was a web, and she was caught in it. She paid the tab and headed for the truck, Sam trailing. Halfway there, she stopped cold, her breath catching. All 4 tires were slashed, rubber sagging into the gravel. Sam, she said, voice trembling, they're here. Chapter 8, Tangled Lies. Ellie stood frozen in the parking lot, staring at the slashed tires, the night air cold against her skin. The Rusty Nails neon sign buzzed behind her, casting a sickly glow over the truck, its rubber guts spilling onto the gravel. Sam cursed under her breath, kicking a rock hard enough to send it skittering across the lot. Ellie, this is messed up. Who the hell does this? She said, her voice sharp with anger. Ellie didn't answer right away, her eyes scanning the shadows beyond the bar, half expecting that dark-coated figure to step out and wave. The whiskey in her system dulled the panic, but not enough. They're warning me, she said finally, her voice low. That text, stop looking. This is them saying it louder. Sam pulled out her phone, the screen lighting her face as she dialed. I'm calling a tow. Then we're going to the cops. This isn't just letters anymore, Ellie. It's vandalism, maybe worse. Ellie grabbed her arm, stopping her. No cops, Sam. Not yet. This is personal, you get that? They know me. I need to know them first. Sam stared at her, jaw tight, then lowered the phone. Fine. But we're not walking home with a psycho on the loose. Let's get Jake or someone to give us a lift. Ellie nodded, her mind already racing back to what Jake had said about Kate, the group, Martha. The tires were a message, but she wasn't backing off. Back inside, the bar was louder, the dart game turning rowdy. Jake was at the counter, chatting up Ray, who looked bored as ever. Ellie marched over, Sam trailing. Jake, she said, cutting through his laugh. Someone slashed our tires. You know anything about that? He turned, eyebrows shooting up, that easy grin fading. Whoa, seriously? No, I've been in here. You think I'd do that? Sam crossed her arms, sizing him up. Maybe not you, but you knew Kate. Maybe her weird crowd is still around. Jake raised his hands, defensive. Hey, I just poured drinks and dodged her sermons. I don't slash tires. Need a ride, though? I've got my bike out back. Ellie hesitated, but Sam nodded. Better than hoofing it. Let's go. Jake led them out a side door to a beat-up motorcycle, tossing Sam a spare helmet. Ellie, you're up front with me. Sam, hang on tight. The ride was a blur of wind and engine roar, Ellie's arms locked around Jake's waist, her mind spinning faster than the wheels. Back at her place, he cut the engine, and they climbed off, Sam muttering about her hair. "Thanks," Ellie said, handing back the helmet. Jake grinned, leaning against the bike. "Anytime. Watch your back, though. Kate's ghost or not, someone's pissed." He revved off, leaving them in the quiet. Inside, Sam flopped onto the couch, pulling out her phone again. "Okay, no cops, but we're not sitting ducks. Let's dig into Kate deeper. That group thing's nagging me." Ellie nodded, grabbing her laptop from the coffee table. Jake said she was into fixing women. Lisa mentioned secrets. Martha's in that photo. There's a link. Sam cracked her knuckles, taking the laptop. "Let's see if Kate left any crumbs online. People like her love to preach." They searched, the screen glowing in the dim room, pulling up old forums, dead social media pages, anything with Kate's name. Most of it was noise, until Sam froze, pointing. "Ellie, look at this." It was a blog, buried in some forgotten corner of the web, titled Sisters of the Unseen. The posts were rants, poetic and unhinged, about women's shame, their hidden lives. One entry stopped Ellie cold. "The time you cried in the bathroom stall at work because he wouldn't stop staring," it read, word for word from the first letter. Her breath hitched, and Sam's eyes widened. "Holy shit, Ellie. This is it. She wrote this crap." Ellie scrolled, hands trembling, finding more echoes of her secrets, twisted into Kate's weird gospel. "She's alive," Ellie whispered. "Or someone's using her words." Sam kept digging, pulling up a grainy profile pic, Kate's sharp face staring out. Last post was 3 years ago, right when she vanished. But if she's dead, who's playing ghostwriter? Ellie didn't have an answer, her head pounding with too many questions. Then, a noise, soft but sharp, cut through the room, a scrape from the hall. Sam jumped, dropping the laptop. "What the hell was that?" she hissed. Ellie stood, heart slamming, and crept toward the door, Sam behind her. The hall was empty, the apartment still, but the air felt wrong, heavy. She checked the locks, all secure, then saw it, a shadow flickering past the window, gone before she could blink. "Sam," Ellie said, voice barely there, "they're outside." Sam grabbed a kitchen knife, her bravado back. "Let 'em try. We're ready." But Ellie wasn't so sure, the blog's words burning in her mind, Kate's voice whispering through the cracks of her life. Chapter 9, The Invitation. Ellie didn't sleep after that shadow slipped past her window, her nerves strung tight as a wire. She and Sam stayed up, camped on the couch with the lights on, the kitchen knife within reach. The laptop sat open, Kate's blog glowing like a taunt, those eerie words looping in Ellie's head. She kept replaying the night's mess, the slashed tires, Jake's casual hints, that damn shadow. It wasn't just paranoia anymore, someone was out there, close enough to touch, and she felt like a mouse in a trap she couldn't see. Sam dozed off around dawn, her head lolling against the armrest, but Ellie couldn't shut her eyes. Every creak of the building, every gust of wind, had her jumping. By morning, the apartment felt like a cage, and Ellie needed air, answers, anything to shake the dread. She nudged Sam awake, her voice hoarse. "Sam, I can't sit here. We've got Kate's blog, the group, Martha's lies. I need to move." Sam groaned, rubbing her eyes. "Ellie, you're running on fumes. What's the plan, storming the streets like a vigilante?" Ellie stood, pacing, the crumpled letters in her pocket rustling. "That blog's her voice. If she's alive, or someone's playing her, they're leaving breadcrumbs. I want to find where they lead." Sam sighed, hauling herself up. "Fine, but coffee first. Then we hunt." They hit a diner, not the one on Elm, a quieter spot with chipped mugs and a waitress who didn't care enough to eavesdrop. Over coffee and greasy eggs, Sam scrolled the blog again, digging for clues. "Look," she said, pointing. "Last post mentions a sanctuary, some place they met. No address, but it's all cryptic, where the broken gather. Sound familiar?" Ellie frowned, sipping her coffee, the heat grounding her. "Could be anywhere." Church basement, old house, who knows? Martha might have been there. Sam smirked, forking eggs. Time for round 2 with her then. She's cracking, Ellie. Push harder. Before they could plan more, the mail slot clattered back at Ellie's place. She'd swung by to grab fresh clothes, and there it was, another white envelope on the mat, her name scrawled in that tight script. Her stomach dropped, but she tore it open, Sam peering over her shoulder. Come tonight, it read. The house on Hollow Road. Alone. Your secrets wait. No signature, just an address, a street Ellie vaguely knew, out past the town limits, all abandoned lots and crumbling shacks. Sam snatched it, eyes wide. Ellie, this is a trap. You're not going alone to some creepy-ass house. Ellie took it back, her hands steady now, a strange calm settling in. I have to, Sam. They're calling me out. I need to see who's behind this. Sam grabbed her arm, voice sharp. No way, Ellie. They slashed your tires, drugged you, maybe worse. I'm coming, end of story. Ellie shook her head, firm. It says alone. If they spot you, they might bolt, or worse. I'll be careful, I swear. Phone on, you track me. Sam cursed, pacing, but finally relented. Fine, but I'm close. One scream, I'm there with a bat. Night fell fast, the sky bruising purple as Ellie drove to Hollow Road, her heart thudding against her ribs. The street was a ghost, lined with skeletal trees and houses sagging into the earth. The address was a 2-story wreck, windows boarded, paint peeling like dead skin. She parked a block away, flashlight in hand, the letter tucked into her jeans. The air was thick, damp, the kind of quiet that swallowed sound. She crept up the cracked path, every step a gamble, and pushed the door. It creaked open, unlocked, revealing a gutted interior, dust and shadows everywhere. Inside, the air smelled of rot and something sharp, like old perfume. Her flashlight swept the room, catching glints of broken glass, a sagging couch. Then she saw it, carved into the wall above the fireplace, names in jagged letters, Kate, Lisa, Martha, and at the bottom, Ellie. Her breath caught, the beam shaking in her hand. Footsteps echoed upstairs, quick and light, and she froze. Who's there? She called, voice cracking. No answer, just a shadow flitting across the landing, then gone. She started up the stairs, her boots loud on the rotting wood, when her foot slipped, a board snapping under her. She fell, hard, her hand slicing open on a nail, blood dripping onto the step. A laugh floated down, low and cold, sending ice through her veins. She scrambled up, flashlight swinging, but the landing was empty. Her phone buzzed, Sam's name lighting the screen, but before she could answer, she saw it, a figure darting out the back door, coat flapping. Ellie stumbled after them, blood slick on her hand, the laugh still ringing in her ears. She hit the yard, flashlight catching nothing but weeds, the figure gone. Her chest heaved, fear and fury mixing, and she knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Chapter 10, The Circle. Ellie's hand throbbed as she drove back from Hollow Road, the cut still oozing, a sticky mess on the steering wheel. That laugh, sharp and mocking, echoed in her skull, louder than the truck's engine. She'd seen the names on the wall, her own carved like a threat, and that figure slipping away, always one step ahead. Her phone buzzed again, Sam's name flashing, but she let it ring, needing the quiet to think. The house had been a lure, a stage set just for her, and she'd walked right into it. Whoever this was, they weren't done playing. Back at her apartment, Sam was waiting, pacing the hall like a caged animal. The door barely opened before she pounced. Ellie, what the hell? You didn't answer. I was 2 seconds from busting down that creepy house myself, she shouted, her voice bouncing off the walls. Ellie held up her bloody hand, silencing her. I'm fine, Sam. Well, mostly. Look, I need to show you something. She stumbled inside, dropping onto the couch, and pulled out her phone, snapping a shaky photo of the wall before she'd bolted. Sam leaned in, squinting at the screen, the names glowing in the flashlight's glare. Kate, Lisa, Martha, Ellie, she read, her voice dropping. Jesus, Ellie. This is a hit list or something. Ellie shook her head, wincing as she wrapped a dish towel around her hand. Not a hit list. A circle. They're connected, Sam. Kate's group, the sisters or whatever. Martha was in it, Lisa knew about it, and now me. That letter, it wasn't random. They wanted me there. Sam grabbed a beer from the fridge, cracking it open with a hiss. Okay, so what's the game? Scare you into joining their weird cult? Ellie leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Maybe. Or punish me. That laugh, it was personal. Like they know me. Sam sat beside her, handing over the beer. You need this more than me. Look, we've got the blog, Jake's story, now this. Let's piece it together. What did Martha say about the group again? Ellie took a swig, the cold biting her throat. Self-help, basement meetings, crying about problems. She downplayed it, but that photo says she was deeper in. Sam nodded, pulling the laptop over. Right. And Kate's blog rants about shame, fixing women. Sounds like a twisted therapy session. Maybe they're still active, and you're their new project. Ellie's mind flashed to the night she'd blacked out, the letter's words about her spilling secrets. Sam, she said, voice low, what if I was there? With them, that night I can't remember. Drugged, talking, and they kept it. Sam's eyes widened, and she set the beer down hard. That's dark, Ellie. But it fits. Martha protecting you, maybe she pulled you out, and now they're pissed. Ellie nodded, the pieces snapping together, jagged but clear. I need to know. All of it. Sam grabbed her phone, dialing fast. Then we're shaking more trees. Jake's our next bet. He knew Kate, might know more. It rang twice before he picked up, his voice lazy over the line. Sam? What's up, trouble? Sam didn't waste time. Jake, it's Ellie's mess. She went to some creepy house tonight, found names carved on a wall, Kate's included. You said she's gone, but what if she's not? Silence stretched, then Jake's tone shifted, sharper. Ellie stirring that pot, huh? Look, Kate's alive. Saw her last week, skulking around the old mill. Didn't say hi, she looked unhinged. If she's back, she's got a reason. Ellie grabbed the phone, her voice tight. Jake, why didn't you tell me? She's screwing with my life. He sighed, heavy. Didn't think she'd go this far. Kate's nuts, Ellie. Obsessed with her mission. If she's after you, it's personal. Watch yourself. He hung up, leaving Ellie staring at the screen, her cut hand pulsing. Sam took the phone back, frowning. The mill's 10 minutes out. We could check it tomorrow. Ellie shook her head. No. I'm done waiting. But first, Martha. She dug through a drawer, pulling out an old photo album she'd shoved away years ago. Flipping pages, she stopped on a faded shot, a backyard barbecue, Martha laughing with a group of women. There, in the corner, was Kate, younger, sharper, and next to her, a blurry figure, Ellie herself, maybe 20, grinning like an idiot. Sam, she said, voice trembling, I was there. With them. Years ago. Sam leaned in, eyes wide. Holy crap, Ellie. You're in the circle. Always were. The realization hit like a punch, memories flickering, hazy nights with Martha's friends, voices she couldn't place. The letters weren't new, they were echoes, pulling her back into something she'd forgotten. And Kate, alive, was the key. Chapter 11, The Past Bites. Ellie couldn't unsee that photo, her younger self grinning next to Kate and Martha, a snapshot of a life she'd buried deep. It was like finding a crack in a mirror, the reflection warped but undeniable. She sat on the floor, the album open in her lap, Sam hovering with a mix of shock and impatience. Ellie, you okay? You look like you've seen a damn ghost, Sam said, her voice cutting through the haze. Ellie nodded, slow, her fingers tracing the edges of the picture. I was there, Sam. With them. I don't remember much, just bits, Martha dragging me to some gathering, women talking, drinking. I thought it was nothing, just her weird face. But Kate, she was there too. Sam crouched beside her, snagging the album. So you were part of the sisters' crap? And forgot? That's wild, Ellie. Ellie shook her head, frustration bubbling up. Not forgot, blocked out. I was, 20? Martha was always pulling me into her messes back then, fights, booze, her friends. I tuned it out. But this, it's coming back, fuzzy. Voices, a basement, someone asking me stuff. Her voice cracked, and she stood, pacing, the cut on her hand throbbing like a reminder. The letters, Sam. They're not random. They're mine, from then. Sam's eyes narrowed, piecing it together. Okay, so Kate's got your old confessions, and she's what, throwing them in your face now? Why? Ellie stopped, staring at the wall where the names had been carved in that house. Maybe I left. Martha said she protected me. What if she pulled me out, and Kate didn't like it? Sam nodded, slow. Makes sense. She's alive, pissed, and playing puppet master. We need Martha to spill, Ellie. No more dodging. They drove to the trailer again, the sky heavy with clouds, a storm brewing that matched Ellie's mood. Martha was inside this time, the TV blaring some game show, a bottle of gin on the table. She didn't get up when they barged in, just flicked her eyes over. Ellie, Sam. Twice in a week. I'm flattered, she said, her voice thick with sarcasm. Ellie didn't sit, didn't soften. She tossed the old photo onto the table, right in front of the gin. This, Martha. Me, you, Kate. I was there, wasn't I? With your group. Tell me the truth. Martha's hand paused mid-reach for the bottle, her face tightening. She picked up the photo, staring at it like it might bite. Yeah, you were there, she said finally, her voice low. Young, dumb, tagging along. I brought you once or twice, thought it'd help me, help us. Kate ran it, all fire and brimstone about women's souls. You didn't get it, just drank and laughed. Ellie leaned in, voice sharp. And the letters? They know stuff from back then, Martha. My scar, that night I blacked out. What happened? Martha set the photo down, her eyes darting away. It was a mess, Ellie. Kate had this thing, getting us to talk, spill our guts. One night, you were there, wasted. She gave you something, a drink, said it'd loosen you up. You talked, a lot, crying about me, the glass, everything. I freaked, dragged you out. Told her to leave you alone. Ellie's stomach lurched, memories flickering, a basement, Kate's voice, her own slurred words. Drugged me, she whispered. Martha nodded, slow. Yeah. I didn't know till after. She said it was for your own good, to free you. I cut ties, kept you away. Thought she was gone. Sam stepped forward, arms crossed. She's not gone, Martha. She's back, screwing with Ellie. You didn't think to warn her? Martha's face hardened, and she grabbed the gin, taking a swig. I didn't know, Sam. Kate vanished, years ago. I figured she was dead or crazy somewhere else. I was protecting her, keeping her out of that shit. Ellie slammed her hand on the table, the cut stinging. Protecting me? She's got my secrets, Martha. She's been in my house, watching me. You should have told me. Martha stood, swaying slightly, her voice rising. I didn't want you in it, Ellie. You were a kid, my kid, and I screwed up enough. Kate's nuts, always was. If she's back, it's not my fault. The room pulsed with their shouts, years of buried crap spilling out, until Sam grabbed Ellie's arm. Enough. We're done here. She's a dead end. Ellie glared at Martha, chest heaving, then stormed out, the photo left behind. Back in the truck, a new letter waited on the seat, slipped through the cracked window. Ellie tore it open, her hands shaking. "You chose this," it read. "That night, you wanted to be seen. I gave you that. Come back." No address this time, just a taunt. Ellie screamed, slamming her fist on the dash, the cut splitting wider. "Sam," she said, voice raw, "I don't remember choosing anything. But I'm ending this." The past wasn't just biting, it was tearing her apart. Chapter 12, The Edge. Ellie's scream still hung in the truck's cab, her fist throbbing from the dash, the new letter crumpled in her lap. "You chose this," it mocked, and she wanted to rip it apart, burn it, anything to stop the words from sinking deeper. Sam sat beside her, silent for once, her hands tight on the wheel as they idled outside Martha's trailer. The air felt electric, the storm clouds rolling in thick and dark, matching the chaos in Ellie's head. "Sam," she said, her voice raw and jagged, "I need to find her. Kate. Now. No more games." Sam glanced over, her eyes hard. "Ellie, you're bleeding, you're pissed, and she's a nutcase. We need a plan, not a suicide run." Ellie shook her head, wiping her bloody hand on her jeans. "Plan simple. Jake saw her at the old mill. That's where I'm going. She's alive, she's close, and I'm done being her damn puppet." Sam sighed, starting the engine. "Fine, but I'm driving. You're a mess, and I'm not letting you crash us into a ditch." They peeled out, the trailer fading in the rearview, Martha's half-truths, and that photo left behind. The mill was a hulking relic 10 minutes out, a rusted skeleton of brick and steel, abandoned since the 90s. Ellie's gut twisted as they neared it, the letter's words gnawing at her. Chose this? She didn't remember choosing anything, just a blurry night, Kate's voice, and waking up hollow. The mill loomed against the stormy sky, windows shattered, weeds choking the lot. Sam parked a safe distance back, cutting the lights. "Looks like a horror flick set," she muttered, grabbing a flashlight from the glove box. Ellie stepped out, the wind whipping her hair, her cut hands stinging in the cold. "Good. Maybe she'll feel at home," she said, her voice steady now, anger overtaking fear. They crept toward the building, the crunch of gravel loud under their boots, the air thick with damp rot. The main door hung off its hinges, and Ellie pushed through, flashlight beams slicing the dark. Inside, the mill was a maze of shadows, broken machinery rusting in piles, the ceiling dripping from old leaks. Sam stayed close, her light sweeping the corners. "Kate!" Ellie called, her voice echoing off the walls. "I know you're here. Show yourself." Silence answered, heavy and mocking, until a faint clatter came from deeper in, metal on metal. Ellie moved fast, Sam cursing behind her. They wound through the clutter, past a stairwell, into a wide room that might have been a workshop once. There, in the center, was a table, and on it, a single flower, fresh, red petals stark against the decay. Beside it, a knife, blade glinting in the flashlight's glow. "Ellie," Sam whispered, grabbing her arm. "This is creepy as hell. Let's go." Ellie shook her off, stepping closer, her light catching something else, a wall behind the table, scratched with words. She read aloud, voice trembling. Ellie chose to break free. Ellie chose to forget. Her name was there again, carved deep, but this time scratched out, a violent slash through the letters. Her knees wobbled, the flower and knife a twisted shrine. "She's here," Ellie said, spinning, scanning the dark. She did this. A shadow moved, fast, near the back wall, and Ellie bolted after it, Sam shouting her name. She hit a narrow hall, the figure ahead, coat flapping like a flag. "Stop!" Ellie yelled, her voice raw, flashlight bouncing. The figure ducked through a doorway, and Ellie followed, bursting into a smaller room, empty but for a pile of old crates. Her light swept the space, catching nothing, the figure gone again. She cursed, kicking a crate, pain shooting up her leg. Sam caught up, panting. "Ellie, you're gonna get us killed." "What the hell?" Ellie turned, her face pale but set. "She's toying with me, Sam. That flower, my name scratched out. She's close, I feel it. Sam grabbed her shoulders, voice firm. I get it, but we're blind here. We need backup, or real plan. Ellie nodded, reluctant, her eyes still darting to the shadows. They headed back, the mill's silence pressing in, until they reached the truck. Sam unlocked it, then froze, pointing. The windshield had a crack, fresh, spiderwebbing out from a single point. Ellie, she said, voice low, she's not just close. She's watching. Ellie's heart slammed, the edge of something sharp and real cutting through her. Kate wasn't a ghost or a memory, she was here, now, and this wasn't a game anymore. It was a hunt. Chapter 13, The Face. Ellie stared at the cracked windshield, the spiderweb of lines glinting under the mill's faint light, her breath fogging in the cold. Sam stood beside her, flashlight trembling in her grip, the beam jittering across the truck. Ellie, this is nuts, Sam said, her voice tight with a mix of fear and fury. She's out there, smashing shit, laughing at us. We need to get gone. Ellie didn't move, her eyes locked on the crack, the flower and knife from inside still burning in her mind. No, she said, low and steady. I'm not running. She wants me to see her, Sam. I'm giving her that chance. Sam grabbed her arm, hard. Ellie, you're not thinking straight. She's unhinged, you said it yourself. Ellie pulled free, turning to face her. I know. But I'm done chasing shadows. She's here, now. I'm calling her out. Before Sam could argue, Ellie cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted into the dark. Kate! I'm right here. Stop hiding and face me. Her voice bounced off the mill's rusted walls, swallowed by the wind, but the air shifted, heavier, like something listened. Sam cursed, stepping back, her light sweeping the lot. You're gonna get us killed, Ellie, she muttered, but she didn't leave. Seconds stretched, the silence thick, until a figure stepped from the mill's side entrance, slow and deliberate. The long coat flapped in the breeze, hood up, but Ellie knew it was her. Kate. The flashlight caught her as she moved closer, revealing a face older than the blog photo, sharper, lines etched deep around her mouth and eyes. Her hair was dark, streaked with gray, pulled back tight, and those eyes, they cut through the night, locked on Ellie like a predator's. Ellie, she said, voice low, smooth, a smile curling her lips. You came. I knew you would. Ellie's stomach flipped, but she held her ground, fists clenched. Kate. You're alive. Why the hell are you doing this? Kate stopped a few yards away, hands in her pockets, head tilted. Doing what? Reminding you? You've been asleep, Ellie. I'm waking you up. Sam stepped forward, flashlight steady now. Waking her up? With letters, slashed tires, creepy shrines? You're a psycho, lady. Kate's smile widened, unfazed. Psycho? No, Sam. Visionary. Women like Ellie, they bury themselves in shame, in silence. I free them. I freed her once. Ellie's voice shook, but she pushed it out. Freed me? You drugged me, Kate. That night, years ago. Martha told me. You made me talk, then what? Kept it to torment me now? Kate laughed, a sound that prickled Ellie's skin. Torment? No, darling. Truth. You spilled your soul that night, all your little wounds. The scar, the men, your mother's laugh. You wanted to be seen, Ellie. I gave you that. Then Martha stole you away, locked you back in your cage. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. I've been waiting to finish what we started. Sam lunged, fury snapping. Finish what? You're a nutcase with a grudge. Ellie grabbed her, pulling her back, eyes never leaving Kate. What do you want, Kate? Why now? Kate's smile faded, her gaze hardening. Because you're ready. The world's uglier now, Ellie. Women need us, need me. You were my first, my proof it works. I've been watching, writing, waiting for you to remember. Ellie's head spun, flashes of that night breaking through, Kate's voice, a basement, her own tears. "I didn't ask for this," she said, voice breaking. "You took it from me." Kate's eyes flashed, and she stepped closer, too close. "You gave it, Ellie. Willingly. And you'll give more." She reached out, fast, grabbing Ellie's wrist, her grip iron. Ellie yanked back, adrenaline surging, and swung, her fist clipping Kate's jaw. Kate stumbled, laughing again, blood on her lip. "There's the fire," she said, wiping it away. Sam shoved between them, flashlight raised like a club. "Back off, bitch." Kate dodged, quick, and darted toward the mill, coat flapping. "You'll come to me, Ellie," she called, voice fading. "You always do." Ellie lunged after her, but Sam held her back, strong. "No, Ellie. She's baiting you." Ellie fought, then sagged, chest heaving, watching Kate vanish into the dark. They stumbled to the truck, Sam shoving her in, peeling out fast. "She's insane," Sam said, voice shaking. "We need help, Ellie. Cops, something." Ellie didn't answer, her wrist burning where Kate had grabbed her, the fight replaying. Then she saw it, on the floorboard, a journal, old and worn, slipped in during the chaos. She opened it, hands trembling, finding pages of her secrets, her voice, written in Kate's tight script. "Sam," she said, barely audible, "she's got everything." Chapter 14, The Breaking. Ellie clutched the journal like it was a live wire, its pages heavy with her own words twisted through Kate's lens. The truck rattled down the road, Sam's knuckles white on the wheel, the cracked windshield throwing jagged shadows across their faces. "Ellie, what's in it?" Sam asked, her voice tight, eyes flicking between the road and her friend. Ellie flipped through, her cut hand leaving faint smears on the edges, each line a gut punch. "It's me," she said, voice hollow. "That night, years ago. Everything I said, drunk, drugged, whatever. The scar," Martha laughing, "guys I let too close. She wrote it all down, Sam. Like a damn diary of my shame." Sam swore, loud, slamming her hand on the dash. "That's sick, Ellie. She's got no right. We're burning that thing, calling the cops, done." Ellie shook her head, slow, her eyes locked on a page. "Listen to this," she said, reading aloud, her voice trembling. Ellie cried for her mother's love, but it was cold. "She gave me her pain, and I held it, a gift to free her. She'll see." She stopped, throat tight, the words clawing at her. "She thinks she's saving me, Sam. That's why she's back. To finish it." Sam pulled into Ellie's lot, cutting the engine hard. "Saving you? By stalking you, slashing tires, breaking glass? She's delusional, Ellie. We've got proof now, that journal. Let's end this." Ellie didn't move, the journal heavy in her lap, Kate's face from the mill burned into her mind, that smile, that grip on her wrist. "She won't stop," she said, quiet. "Not till I break or join her. That's what she wants." Sam grabbed her shoulder, firm. "Then we break her first. Come on." Inside, Ellie dropped the journal on the coffee table, its presence loud in the dim room. Sam paced, phone in hand. "I'm calling Jake. He's seen her, he can back us up. Then cops. No more solo hero crap, Ellie." Ellie nodded, numb, sinking onto the couch as Sam dialed. Jake picked up, voice slurred, music thumping in the background. "Sam? What now?" Sam didn't mince words. "Jake, Kate's alive, attacked Ellie tonight. We've got her journal, full of Ellie's secrets. You in or out?" A pause, then Jake's tone sharpened. "Attacked? Shit, Sam. I'm in. Meet me at the bar, hour. Bring it." Sam hung up, turning to Ellie. "He's spooked but on board. We've got a shot, Ellie. You good?" Ellie forced a nod, but her hands shook as she opened the journal again, flipping to a later page. "She recorded me," she said, voice breaking. That night I blacked out, months ago. Says here, Ellie slept, soft, pliable. I asked, she answered. Martha hit her once, but not again. Sam froze, then sat hard beside her. She broke in, Ellie. Drugged you again. Martha knew? Ellie's chest tightened, tears pricking her eyes. Yeah. Martha covered it up, like before. Kept me in the dark. She stood, grabbing her phone, dialing Martha's number with shaking fingers. It rang, then clicked to voicemail, Martha's gruff voice cutting off mid-sentence. Martha, it's Ellie, she said, voice raw. Kate's got a journal, my words, from years ago and now. You lied. Call me. She hung up, tears spilling, and Sam pulled her into a hug, fierce. We'll fix this, Ellie. She's not winning. An hour later, they met Jake at the Rusty Nail, the journal tucked under Ellie's arm. He was sober now, eyes sharp, leaning against the bar. Show me, he said, no charm this time. Ellie handed it over, watching him skim, his face darkening. Kate's lost it, he said, slamming it shut. I knew she was off, but this. She's obsessed, Ellie. You're her damn holy grail. Sam nodded, arms crossed. We've got enough for the cops now. Let's go. But before they could move, the mail slot clattered, a new envelope sliding onto the floor. Ellie's heart stopped as she tore it open. You're next, it read, simple, cold. She dropped it, backing up, and Sam grabbed it, reading aloud. You're next. Next for what? Jake stepped closer, voice low. Her game, whatever it is. She's close, Ellie. A noise outside, footsteps crunching gravel, snapped their heads around. Ellie locked the door, hands trembling, the journal's weight pulling her down. Sam, she said, voice barely there, she's here. The breaking wasn't just coming, it was now. Chapter 15, The Truth. Ellie's hands shook as she bolted the door, the footsteps outside fading into the night, leaving a silence that pressed against her chest. The new letter, You're next, lay on the floor like a curse, Sam and Jake staring at it, the journal still heavy on the coffee table. Ellie, we're not waiting for her to kick the door down, Sam said, her voice sharp, grabbing her phone. I'm calling the cops now. This ends tonight. Jake nodded, his usual grin gone, replaced by a grim set to his jaw. She's right, Ellie. Kate's unhinged. That journal's enough to lock her up. Ellie didn't argue, her mind racing too fast to fight. Do it, she said, voice hoarse, sinking onto the couch. Sam dialed, pacing as she spoke, her words clipped. Yeah, break in, threats, we've got evidence. Hurry. She hung up, turning to Ellie. 10 minutes, they're coming. We just hold tight. But Ellie couldn't sit still, the journal pulling her in. She flipped it open again, scanning Kate's tight script, looking for the why behind the madness. A page near the end stopped her cold. Ellie's truth will free them all, it read. She's the key, the first to break, the last to rise. Her stomach twisted, Kate's voice from the mill echoing, You're ready. She thinks I'm some savior, Ellie said, showing Sam and Jake. Her mission, her proof. That's why me. Jake frowned, leaning over. She's built a whole damn cult around you, Ellie. You're not just a target, you're her gospel. Sam snorted, bitter. Great, so she's a psycho with a messiah complex. Cops can't get here fast enough. But Ellie wasn't listening, her eyes catching a folded note tucked in the journal's back cover. She pulled it free, unfolding it, her breath hitching. It was a map, hand-drawn, the mill marked with an X, and a note in Kate's hand, finish it where it began. Ellie stood, map in hand, a plan forming through the fog. Sam, Jake, she's at the mill. That's where she'll be. I can lure her out, get her talking, record it. Cops catch her there. Sam grabbed her arm, eyes wide. Ellie, no. You're not bait. They'll handle it. Ellie shook her off, voice steady now. They won't find her without me. She wants me, Sam. I'll give her that, my way. Jake stepped up, nodding slow. I'll drive. Sam, you tell the cops where we're headed. We end this. They piled into Jake's bike and truck, Ellie in the front with Jake, Sam behind, phone pressed to her ear, updating the police. The mill loomed again, darker now, the storm breaking overhead, rain pelting the windshield. Ellie clutched her phone, recording on, and stepped out, shouting into the wind. Kate! I'm here. Finish it. Her voice cracked, but it carried, and the mill's door creaked open, Kate stepping out, coat soaked, that smile back. Ellie, she said, voice smooth over the rain. You came home. Ellie held her ground, phone hidden, recording every word. Home? This is your prison, Kate. You drugged me, stole my life. Why? Kate laughed, stepping closer, rain streaking her face. Stole? I saved you, Ellie. That night, you gave me everything, your pain, your truth. I kept it, built it. Women need to see, to break like you did. Ellie's voice rose, raw. Break? You broke me. Twice. Recorded me, stalked me. You're not a savior, you're a monster. Kate's eyes flashed, and she lunged, grabbing Ellie's shoulders, strength surprising. Monster? I'm your mirror, Ellie. You wanted this. Ellie fought back, shoving hard, Kate stumbling into the mud. I wanted nothing from you, she screamed, kicking out, catching Kate's leg. Kate fell, laughing, blood mixing with rain, and Ellie pinned her, phone still rolling. Say it, Kate. You did this. All of it. Kate grinned, wild. Yes. I did. For you, for them. You're free now, Ellie. Lights flashed, sirens cutting the night, cops swarming from the road. Sam ran up, pulling Ellie off as officers grabbed Kate, cuffing her, her laugh fading as they dragged her away. Ellie collapsed into Sam, sobbing, the phone slipping into the mud, recording done. It's over, Sam said, holding tight. You got her. Back home, Ellie found one last note in her pocket, slipped there in the fight. You're free now, it read, Kate's final taunt. She stared at it, the truth sinking in, heavy but real. Chapter 16, The After. Ellie sat on her couch, the apartment quiet for the first time in weeks, the kind of quiet that felt fragile, like it could shatter with a breath. The journal, the letters, all of it was gone, burned in a metal trash can out back after the cops took Kate away. She'd watched the flames eat through the pages, her secrets curling into ash, Sam standing beside her with a lighter and a grim nod. The rain had stopped, leaving the air damp and cool, and now, 2 days later, she was alone, a cup of coffee cooling in her hands. Kate was locked up, her confession on Ellie's muddy phone enough to keep her there, but the weight of it all lingered, heavy as the scars she couldn't hide anymore. Sam had crashed at her place that first night, both of them too wired to sleep, replaying the mill, Kate's wild eyes, the cops' lights cutting through the dark. Ellie, you're a badass, Sam had said, sprawled on the floor with a beer, her voice rough but proud. Took her down like a damn wrestler. Ellie had managed to laugh, weak but real, the first crack in the numbness. Felt more like a flail, Sam. But yeah, she's done. Sam had grinned, clinking her bottle against Ellie's mug. To freedom, then. Hers or yours, who cares? They'd toasted, but Ellie's mind kept drifting to that last note, you're free now, slipped into her pocket like a parting shot. She'd gone to Martha's the next day, needing closure, or at least something close. The trailer door was unlocked, Martha inside, gin bottle half empty, the TV off for once. She'd looked up, eyes red, and Ellie didn't wait for an invite, just sat across from her. Martha, she said, voice steady, Kate's gone. I got her. But you knew more than you said. Why? Martha took a swig, slow, her hands shaky. Ellie, I messed up. Back then, I thought Kate's group was a lifeline, for me, for us. She got in your head, and I let her. When she drugged you, I panicked, pulled you out. Didn't tell you 'cause I was ashamed. Ellie leaned forward, her voice low but firm. Ashamed? You left me blind, Martha. She came back, broke into my life again, and you stayed quiet. Martha's face crumpled, tears spilling, rare and raw. I thought she was gone, Ellie. Dead or lost. I wanted to forget, keep you safe my way. I failed you, kid. Always did. Ellie's throat tightened, years of hurt bubbling up, but she saw it then, Martha's own scars, jagged as her own. You did, she said, soft. But I'm here. We're here. They didn't hug, didn't cry it out, just sat in the silence, a truce more than a fix. Back home now, Ellie sipped her coffee, the bitterness grounding her. Sam had swung by earlier, all bravado and bad jokes. Ellie, you're a legend now, she'd said, flopping onto the couch. Took down a stalker with a right hook and a phone. Next round's on me. Ellie had smirked, feeling lighter. Better be whiskey, Sam. I earned it. Sam had laughed, loud, then sobered. You good, though? Really? Ellie had nodded, slow. Getting there. She's gone, that's what matters. Sam had squeezed her shoulder, then left, promising a bar night soon. The day stretched on, quiet tasks filling the hours, laundry, dishes, anything to keep her hands busy. But as dusk settled, Ellie felt it, a pull to check one last time. She moved to her bedroom, knelt by the bed, and slid her hand under the frame, half expecting nothing. Her fingers brushed paper, and her heart stopped. She pulled it out, another white envelope, her name scrawled in that tight script. Her breath caught, the room tilting, but she tore it open, needing to know. Inside, a single line, the circle turns, Ellie. You're never alone. No signature, just that, and a faint smudge of red, lipstick or blood, she couldn't tell. She stared, the words sinking in, Kate's voice whispering through the cracks again. Was it old, slipped there before the mill? Or new, a ghost note from a locked cell? She didn't know, couldn't know, and that uncertainty gnawed at her. She stood, envelope in hand, and walked to the window, the street below empty, shadows stretching long. The circle turns. Freedom, maybe, but not peace. Ellie set the note on the dresser, unburned, unopened questions lingering. She'd won, Kate was caged, but the story wasn't done, not quite. She stared at it, coffee cold, the night pressing in, and let the silence hold her, a woman unbroken but still searching. Thank you for listening to this incredible story. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. See you soon.